thing that I learned when I was there, which is very difficult for me to ever bring up in church, which I have never brought up in church, ever. God loves everyone. And it isn't just Christians that God loves. God loves everyone, no matter what religion, no matter what, anything. I mean, obviously, you know, let's take color, humans with different colors. I mean, obviously, we're God's children, so obviously we should all be loving each other. And as far as religion is concerned, I can't make any decisions about that other than the fact that I know that God loves all of us. And it isn't that he loves just Christians.
It's really funny because on one hand, because of what I now feel I know and what I feel I've learned, I think it would be safe to say that I have departed to some respect what traditional Christianity, as we think of it, teaches. On another level, I feel like I've come to what traditional Christianity really is, and by traditional Christianity, I think I mean what I perceive Christ was talking about and the way that was being acted out in the first and second century, as opposed to the way that it's acted out now. I'm not so sure that I'm not a more traditional Christian than I was in the religion I grew up with, which was very straight, well, it's Presbyterian.
One of the most devastating thoughts that I have to most people, because they fear this the most, and that is on a religious vein, that they seek God or they seek Christ outside of their body, that they are actually part of that entity. That we, each one of us, are a thought, a fragment of all it is. We are also a fragment of the Creator, however small it would be. In centillions, septillions, octillions, we are a fragment of the consciousness of all it is. So that we should look within ourselves to evolve and not look always outwards for help like we are incapable, because the human mind is capable of anything that it wants to aspire to.
And that was the last thing that I felt. It was like, this is for everybody. What your particular preference was on this or that in terms of your politics or your religion didn't seem to be a big issue at all. Do you love each other? Do you care about each other? Do you help each other? Those were the basic things that I came away with. Not are you from the Lutheran Church and I'm from the Catholic Church and I don't know if I can talk with you. I mean, do we have anything in common here? Yeah.
But see, I had a very strong religious structure, but before this, my religious structure was breaking down because I felt that religion separated people, and I was one to spout out that, you know, talk to priests and say, why does this have to be this way? There are Jewish people, there are Buddhists, there are Protestants, there are Catholics, and so on, and they're all one and the same. And that religious sense was all broken down when I came back, because that showed me that what I felt from the beginning was correct, because all is one and one is all to begin with. And I have that spiritual balance, I feel, now.
It's artificial. All those other, they're barriers, they're not.
Total. Religion, you know, separates. That's right.
One of the most devastating thoughts that I have to most people, because they fear this the most, and that is on a religious vein, that they seek God or they seek Christ outside of their body, that they are actually part of that entity. That we, each one of us, are a thought, a fragment of all it is. We are also a fragment of the Creator, however small it would be. In sextillions, septillions, octillions, we are a fragment of the consciousness of all that is. So that we should look within ourselves to evolve and not look always outwards for help like we are incapable, because the human mind is capable of anything that it wants to aspire to.
That I find useful for me, at least, in terms of this. There's a much more. Everything is divine. It's all. That's the thing that I got from this one piece of it, where everything fit together. There isn't anything, any living thing, that isn't part and connected to everything else. And although throughout this whole thing, I always had a sense that there was a power that was much beyond anything that I could comprehend. In other words, it wasn't like I'm God, you're God, he's God, everybody else is God. Everything that's going on is God. It really was that there was a power in which there was this perfect love, and in which all this creation was energized by. And so that there's a God.